We take the moon for granted. Through some divine campaign of evolutionary marketing, we have convinced ourselves that the most glorious achievements should be attributed to the sun. We often think of the sun as the primary provider in our sky, the only giver of light. Gratitude is a skill learned after taking things for granted, realizing what we've lost once they're gone. The moon, by coping for change, warns us to look around before the sun sets. We are empowered on sunny days like the sun crawls in through our windows, onto our kitchen tables and into our frosted glasses with all the powers to photosynthesize this fructose orange syrup into the nectar of Apollo. The breakfast of champions and the leanest, greenest, glucose-loving machines packed with white-cloaked endorsements of vitamin D. And hey, even packaged in a pleasing, bold, and tropical blue. What's not to love? How glamorous is the sun that paints vast lands of starchy pebbles, forgotten reeds, and dusty sands into a backdrop of this season's hottest cinematic novella. Like its carefree, bathed, and sultry protagonist, the sun arrives at its own leisure and turns a subtle entrance grand. It apologizes barely by flicking an award-winning smile, the kind that is so pristine that if you stare at it long enough, you'll start seeing radioactive blue spots where those impeccable rays last left their impression. The sun is moody and self-centered. It wears sunglasses to shield itself from its own protruding light. The sun is boastful, erratic, and lazily subscribed to some heliocentric clock. But it is always loved and noticed. At the very least, the moon on the other side has the thankless job of following the Earth like a tragic puppy. Unlike fanatic planets of the solar system, the moon is more like an undernoticed, understudied intern. It shyly admires the sun from afar and tirelessly races to fetch its massive, fat-free Splenda-injected donuts every evening. If you pay close enough attention, you can see a giant Berliner become remnants within a month across the sky. Well, the sun can buy its son a Lamborghini, but it can't buy the comfort of a backseat street-lit lullaby where in the dark, you can count the rhythmic light posts and get to somewhere around 54 before everything is black. And you've either entered a really long tunnel or you've lost waking consciousness and count. Then some dumb old song becomes your favorite and you don't really remember why until one day your dad dies. And you're sitting on a hard wooden chair in an empty, cold-filled hallway with your face like garden roses red and buried in your trembling funeral attending hands, and you're wondering something unanswerable like if you ever really knew him. Then you hear something that makes your sternum kick itself. Your face rises slowly and bewildered, like the moon, because you remember it was the last song playing on the radio every time right before you fell asleep. You never saw it. It was dark, you were young, and you were busy counting lampposts because they reminded you of many repeating versions of the sun. That was the perfect time to watch you in his rearview mirror. See your eyes flutter when you got to 42 and he quietly turned up that song every time because you were his favorite secret lullaby. And yet, you continue to wonder something unanswerable, like if you just make all of that up entirely, or if you read or saw something like it on TV when you were a kid, or if you thought about it subconsciously a million times, or if you ever really knew him. The moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth, and it follows with synchronous rotation. It always shows the same face. Maybe the moon sometimes hides behind branches and brush for that reason, so it might show something else that can be confused with the stick expressions of the trees. So when you are walking alone for the first time and every other time to the bus stop, maybe the moon does an extra stellar job of hiding whenever you look back. Because it cannot let you see him. Because he wouldn't humiliate you like all the parents who have adopted the jaded, twisted history of asserting that we should all revolve around our children, the earth, and the sun. In the daylight, we remember all the things we push toward the darkness. You see families on their way to Disneyland. You see fathers at the beach throwing meaningless frisbees at their children, and you know that the only reason why you find them meaningless is because you don't understand what it's like to have a stupid frisbee thrown at you. Our perceptions are only products of everything we think we've seen from distant airwaves. Our satellite memories are revolving, broken, black and white commercials, and everything around us is set up to divert our attention from all the things that are directly behind or in front of us. At the end of the day, you're just watching the world revolve upon its sorry, storied stage. But in the dark, you can imagine that maybe the moon was there all along, and you just didn't notice. Maybe you never paid attention until one day you grow up and see this golden crescent propped up in the sky, and you can't help but hope or wonder if this is your second chance. And if that butter golden crescent is like some distant side angle of a smile or a frisbee you've never seen before. Or it says giant thumbnail, because he's sitting across the universe from you, still watching you and waiting and patiently flashing you a thumbs up. Because you just couldn't fall asleep tonight. Because you're going to notice him this time. Because you've been practicing paying attention, you're gonna climb up and reel him in this time. You'll never take any unseen moment for granted again. Maybe he baked you one of those rolled up cans of biscuit because that's all he knew or could do. It's just as special, albeit a way of telling you simply and directly this time that everything is just for you.